Imagine this for a moment. You're living in this bedroom, $400 a week bedroom that you rented from a crazy cat lady in downtown Manhattan because you're an inspired writer who are following the hype, the bullshit that you need to live this in this glamorous city of downtown Manhattan to be inspired to write shit. When in fact you're living in a dump, one of the most overrated cities in the world. I'm perhaps projecting a little bit because I would love to live in downtown Manhattan, maybe in a condo as a millionaire, a bachelor millionaire, with my bachelor millionaire sheets and couch and bed and fast cars, which would never happen.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And it's totally fine. I'm fully content. Fully content.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You're living in this bedroom, this dump on a couch, by the way, that happens to be your bed, watching Netflix with some whore that you met 2 hours ago because you think you could win her over to sleep with her for free, when in fact she's just waiting for her time to be over to get paid. And if you don't pay up, she's going to call these two guys who are waiting downstairs for her in this car to come upstairs to beat the living shit out of you and rob you. And then you burst into flames while you're laughing at some Dave Chappelle special where he talks about transgenders, you transphobic piece of shit. And this bitch is wilding out. She's going crazy. You on fire. She don't know what the hell to do. She's like, I'm going to get my ass beat because this guy is about to die and he haven't paid me yet. And she's not even attempting to save your life to shut the fire down or anything like that, to turn off the fire. Because she's a freaking whore. What the hell she know? She runs out of there. She's scared as hell. She goes to these guys, goes into their car. She explains everything. They think she's lying. They beat the living shit out of her. She doesn't recover. She dies. And so did you. And while that happened, you had no idea he was on fire. Now, this is called spontaneous combustion. And I think I pronounced that word wrong. Definitely wrong. Combustion. This is it right here. If you could pronounce it, good for you. But there's several cases of this. And people are debating about how real or valid those cases are, if that, in fact, they ever happened or anything like that, or how they happened. But here's one of the stories of one of these cases. So before we read a couple of historical cases of people bursting into flames, I want to give a brief history of how this idea spread in the first place. Again, if there's real cases, I'm sure that's how they spread, because people witnessed these things happen and therefore spread the news, like any other news. Anyway, I still want to read this article. It's on history.com. It's the History Channel official website. And just a brief history of this. For several centuries, people have debated whether human beings can spontaneously combust or burst into flames without being ignited by external source. Though the first known accounts of spontaneous human combustion date all the way back to 1641, the phenomenon gained wider exposure in the 19th century, after popular author Charles Dickens used to kill off one of his characters in his novel Bleak House. When critics accused Dickens of legitimizing something that didn't exist, he pointed to research showing 30 historical cases. That is insane. 30? 30 is a freaking lot. 30 cases of people bursting into flames out of freaking nowhere with no external source? Like, that's insane. That's a lot. That is definitely a lot. More recently, cases of SHC, which is spontaneous human combustion, have been suspected when police and fire departments officials have found burnt corpses with with unscathed furniture around them. So the people are bursting into flames around their shit, and nothing is caught on fire except their own body themselves. All right, around them. For instance, an Irish coroner, which I have no idea what the hell a coroner is, something in Ireland, I guess. Maybe he's like a judge or something, or maybe a mayor. I don't know. Gotta look that up. Irish coroner ruled that spontaneous combustion. Now, this is somehow a political figure, right? This Irish coroner. He ruled that a spontaneous combustion caused the death In 2010, of 76 years old Michael Faraday. Let me read that again. An Irish coroner ruled that spontaneous combustion caused the 2010 death in 2010, 14 years ago, of 76 years old Michael Faraday, whose badly burned body was discovered near a fireplace in a room with virtually no fire damage. Guys, I get there's skeptics, obviously. It's reasonable, so freaking reasonable, obviously, to question this. And a lot of times, it could, because there's argument here, like you could read an argument here by scientists, people who, really thought of this and researched this. They say that a lot of times these bodies that's found and that's suspected of, bursting into flames without any external sources are usually around something flammable. And an example, okay, so here, let me read the article real quick. Because the human body is composed of mostly water, and its only highly flammable properties are fat tissues and methane gas, right, in the body. The possibility of SHC, spontaneous human combustion, being an actual phenomenon seems remote. Many scientists dismiss the theory, arguing that undetected flame source such as match or cigarettes is the real culprit in suspected cases. Because that's the most rational thing you could think of. Like, come on, it's insane. A person bursting into flames is absolutely ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It doesn't exist, like never heard of, right? Arguing that just as cigarettes, blah blah blah. Typically, deceased victims are found close to fire source, and evidence suggests that many of them accidentally set themselves on fire while smoking or trying to light a flame. Right? So that's the logical conclusion to these cases. It makes total sense. But here's a counter argument. Our body, our mind, is capable of controlling our temperature. And this is documented research of actual human beings who think they're hot, right? Mentally think they're hot and turn out to be hot or cold, right? Or the opposite, right? If you think you're hot, your body is cold. If you think you're cold, real research. In fact, there are monks in the Himalayas. I forgot what they call that place. In the Himalayas, they will go up there with wet towels who are able to control their body's temperature, so much so that they dry their towels while sitting on freaking snow. And you can literally see the smoke on their bodies.
School has been conducting experiments on Buddhist monks from Tibetan monasteries to assess the effects of meditation on the body's metabolism. His research has provided a remarkable insight into the ways the mind can alter the functioning of the body.
What we found with respect to their oxygen consumption, in simple meditation, they decrease their metabolism upwards of 64%. And this was the largest decrease in oxygen consumption that was ever recorded in experiments by a simple restful procedure.
Carefully monitoring a form of Dzogchen meditation known as Tum Mo, the yoga of inner heat, Benson came up with even more intriguing results.
What we found initially in Tumo was that monks were able to increase their skin temperature in environments of 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
So yeah, it is definitely possible, and it definitely aligns with other testimonies that exist out there. Let's read on. Just a quick, just because there is an argument here about that too. On the other hand, believers point the fact that human body has to reach a temperature of roughly 3,000 degrees in order to be reduced to ashes. Unless SHC were a genuine factor, it seems impossible that furnitures would not burn as well. Okay, very reasonable, of course. Like, if I'm chilling here on my seat, on my table, around my stuff, and I'm bursting into flames, like, how does nothing catch on fire? except my body? Like, how does not, like, the fire spread around me? So, again, there's a lot of reasons to doubt that this is true or not. So, keep that in mind. But let's get right into the stories, right? One of these cases, okay? It's a very interesting case. A woman with severe burns is fighting for her life in Germany after she reportedly burst into flames in an apparent case of the much debated apparent phenomenon of spontaneous human combustion. Eyewitnesses describe how the woman, believed to be in her 40s, silently sat on a park bench as her body was engulfed with fire in northern town of Flensburg. The woman, who was originally from Mauritius, I think that's how you pronounce that, was rushed into the hospital after a passerby stopped the fire by beating away the flames with his jacket. What a hero. What a great guy. I mean, so this is in Germany. It doesn't have a date here, but this is on, I forgot what website, but this is it's a news website. I think it's Guard or something. It's a European website, like for news or whatever. But here's another story. Late at night on Christmas Eve in 1885, so it's pretty far back, in 1885, in the small farming town of Seneca, Illinois, a woman named Matilda Rooney burst into flames. She was alone in her kitchen when it happened. In the kitchen, bursting into flames. Okay. The fire quickly incinerated her entire body except her feet. The incident also claimed the life of her husband, Patrick, who was found suffocated from the fumes in another room of the house. Okay, Patrick died. The tragedy, I'm sorry, I'm not making jokes. Patrick died. And when I think Patrick, I think of Patrick, my boy, Patrick, from SpongeBob. The tragedy left investigators baffled. There was no reason to suspect foul play. The Rooneys had been relaxing and drinking whiskey. Very, very suspicious, very interesting. Was drinking whiskey that evening. A farmhand who had spent a few hours with them hadn't noticed anything out of the ordinary. Furthermore, no source of ignition could be found for the blaze. Although the flames had been intense enough to reduce Matilda to ashes and a few fragments of bone, damn, son, they had not spread to the rest of the room. This fire is so intense, this bitch turned to freaking ashes and bone. It didn't spread nowhere else. This is what I was trying to mention earlier. Like, I was trying to make that point. Like, it's crazy, and it's very suspicious. Like, the fire seemed to have started in her body and stayed confined to her body. It appeared that Rooney had fallen victim to the rare, SHC. That is interesting. Okay, so this bitch was drinking whiskey. Maybe she got a little too drunk. Maybe the alcohol spilled over her, and she went to the kitchen. That's when she burst into flames, supposedly. She probably was cooking some fries and shit, and some oil drop, like hot, fired up oil dropped into her blouse, which was filled with whiskey. And she caught on fire and quickly turned off the stove. Wait, was there a stove back then in the 1800s? Maybe not. Okay, whatever. There can be logical conclusions to what happened. Like, maybe she was cooking something with coal, right? They used coal, and by the time people find out what happened to these people, like, the coal already turned off and the bitch was dead. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. You think, people can actually spontaneously burst into flames? I believe it can, right? But I was trying to stay skeptical, for the sake of the viewers. And, that is my position right away. I am coming from a point of view that I do believe that this is possible, because I do believe the research of, like, again, Buddha monks, or what do you call them? Are they Buddha monks? I don't know what they are. In the Himalayas, are capable of controlling their body temperature, so much so that you can literally see smoke when they're drying off a wet, cold towel. You know what I'm saying? It's, in my mind, it's possible. And I believe that. And I believe the research about, human beings are capable of controlling their body temperature. And maybe, maybe the mind just, is just somehow, it's just, you just can't control it anymore. Your mind can't control the temperature so much that it just keeps going higher and higher that you burst into flames. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to explain it. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much.